Skin, shiny skin, greasy skin, healthy skin. I love how a few people have been asking for like story times. I'm like, what story? I've been stuck in the house for 3 months. In my last videos, a lot of people, and by a lot I mean some, and by some I mean like, got a comment or two about it, like my makeup. Today I'm going to be redoing it, but with the twist. Instead of blue and pink, it will be more of a rainbow-ish with this, what the hell is this called? Sugar Plum mini color palette. She's fun size. As you can see inside, we've got a few greens, some oranges, yellows, like the rainbow. So I kind of want to create that rainbow effect on my eyelid. To prime, I'm going to use the No Problem priming water. Basically an oil-based primer. Why would you call it primer water when it's got oil in it? That definitely seems a little misleading, but I love this stuff anyway. And although my skin is clearly very moisturized, I just like to use this as a little refresher before I put on my makeup. I'm going to use this Anastasia foundation as a color corrector to hide the dark areas of my beard. I know it's probably not like sanitary to do what I just did, but girl, that makeup's mine. I'm definitely not doing well. I'll say that fucking much. I'm doing pretty terribly. I mean, not as terribly as I could be, you know, but mentally, we are not all here. We've checked out. Wow. That was a pretty good color, isn't it? This color is the 560W. Well, it just got really bright all of a sudden. What's going on? And I'm gonna set with the Fit Me powder in the color 35 in deep on stripe and prime it. Take it all the way down my neck. But yeah, girl, the illusion of time has been passing a lot faster once Donald Trump was elected. These past 4 years have seemed like a whirlwind, an endless barrage of terrible information that the media just cannot stop sending us. What's happening? What happened next? Who died? Who did this? Where's the drama now? That is what America is turned into, a reality television show, just the whole country. It's really sad to see. I personally blame Jerry Springer for all of this. Let me move my hair further back. I just would hate to get foundation in this, like in the pink parts. So now I'm going to use my Dior foundation in the color 8N. It's not really my color, but you know, it's a little darker than me, I'm not gonna lie. I like it and it feels good. However, this is water-based, so should I use this? Yeah, I'm gonna use it. So just do a little drip. I'm gonna use one of my favorite cream highlighters, the Candy Johnson I Want Candy cream highlighter. And the name of it officially, what is the name of it? Candy Glow Luminizer. That's what her name is. The boom. Quarantine first started. When did quarantine first start? March, right? Come March, I actually went to Seattle. That was, I believe, the last vlog I posted on my vlog channel. I went to Seattle to go do some shoots for this company, this underwear company that specializes in binders and things of that nature for trans and intersex folk who want comfortable underwear. As I was going over there, I got the notification that like Seattle was like a hot spot for the coronavirus. So that was really scary, but I was just like, well, I was already at the airport, mind you. So it wasn't like I could just turn back. Well, I mean, if I really wanted to, I could turn back, but girl, that would be so disrespectful. The fears about coronavirus were like rising. So like, obviously there wasn't a huge panic yet. And as we would come to find out, there never would be, because people can't listen to fucking instructions in America. But never mind that. So anyway, I go there, do my gig, look around a little bit, have some fun. I come back home and my roommates are all like, stay away from me. Kidding, they weren't like that, but the tension was rising for sure. Then it's like all a black hole, honestly. I don't remember very much. I mean, I remember all the fucked up shit Donald did, like him just denying it outright, which, girl, we all knew. I mean, obviously not all of us, clearly. Him and his little cult were so sure this was not real, and then it turned out to be real, and he still was like, no, that's, what do you mean? Like, y'all are fine, like, shut up. This is just confirming what I always thought in the beginning, is that Donald Trump is trying to kill us. And by us, I mean all of us. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, Mexican, Asian, like, he sees you as a commodity, a thing to be won, a thing to be used, a thing. Period. I don't think he will stop until there are more people dead than people that oppose him. Does that make sense? Like, I think he's perfectly content killing off like a huge amount of people just so that way he doesn't have to like argue with people about like who should run the government. Like, I legit think that is his plan. I mean, that's the way it's looking. And here, meanwhile, he's telling his, you know, his groupies, he's like, girl, you could go outside, kiss everybody, touch everybody, and they all just dropping like flies, which I mean, that's really unfortunate for those racists. You can't say people did not tell you. I can't be that sad. Everything happens so much. I'm going to be using Forbidden Black Lives Matter. Love it. Can't get enough. My life does matter. This virus, I feel like, just has exacerbated everything that we've already been feeling, and it just has skyrocketed it to like 242. It is a lot. Whoever was racist before is like being uber racist now. Like they are like, well, let's go hang some Negroes. Like very cartoon KKK. Like everything that movies and all that other stuff have taught you that racists are, like these racist white folks, hell, Mexicans, Asians, and shit, maybe even some self-hating blacks are out here showing their whole entire ass because they feel emboldened by this man in the White House. Oh, I don't know who's gonna tell them, and I know nobody's gonna protect them, but they feel protected enough to act the way they do, which is scary to me. I am just like, well, we already knew y'all were trash, but the way y'all are violent too? Girl, can we calm down? And so, of course, with the Black Lives Matter protest, inevitably comes the White Lives Matter rebuttal. We witnessed this when Black Lives Matter first popped off with Trayvon Martin back in 2015, I think. 2015, 2016. Maybe I got that date wrong. Maybe it's a little bit earlier than that. But we saw that first wave of like pushback and like people like completely not trying to hear Black Lives Matter. And not only not hearing Black Lives Matter, but then also trying to label it as a terrorist organization, which they did the same exact thing to the Black Panther movement, and including Forrest Gump, which is another movie about how if you follow the rules of capitalism, you can be just as great as this guy who's mentally impaired right here. But we're not going to talk about that in this video. Y'all can go watch the video in the description to hear about how Forrest Gump is linked to capitalism and promoting it. But today, let's focus on the Black Lives Matter movement. So yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yes, black people and white people and how they react to hearing black people problems. It was really interesting to see on Twitter how people were not only showing their whole asses, but they were doing like trends, these racist trends on TikTok. It was like a how's my form challenge, and they would like stand in a position and then it would cut and the edited position would be like them, and they would be like pinching cotton, picking cotton off fields and shit, or doing something that was inherently related to black people. I didn't really see that anybody being racist to Asians, but I wouldn't doubt it if it was there for that matter. But I did see some Asians being racist to some black folks. That was definitely interesting. Was not surprised, but it was interesting to see. And it made me wonder, like, why that challenge started in the first place? Like, what? Who told y'all this was a good idea? That little girl had to come back on TikTok and start explaining herself and crying. Like, it was a mess. Like, I hope her daddy took her social media away, because it was about to get all fired, doxxed, everything. But at the same time, I have to say that I'm happy that a lot of people are starting to open their mind and start having conversations. And by people, I mean mostly white people, because unfortunately, as unfortunate as it is, this is not a problem black people can work out of by ourselves. We will need help from the people who made this problem in the first place. And I know, as hard as that is to hear, because you just got here and you don't really know what's happening either, I'm gonna need you to find out. I'm gonna need you to put in the work, do the work that I've been doing since a long parallelically time ago, and I'm gonna need you to catch up, boo, because we all here waiting for you. I saw this one video of this white girl and she was talking to her father, both her mother and her father, I think. It was floating around in the Twitter ether. She was trying to explain to her parents like what was happening with the Black Lives Matter movement, and like her parents were not trying to hear any of it. Like, they were giving us the same examples that we have heard before as black people, like that lame excuse, they're just thugs, they need to get their chip off the shoulder, pick yourself back up by your bootstraps and tie your shoes and go to work, why do you always work on welfare? Like all these dumb things. Like, you clearly know they never have really interacted with a black person before, and if they have, it was one of those black people who was like, I'm not like other black people. Or maybe they just told that black person like, you're not like other black people. Like, definitely one of those people. This little white girl all by herself is like challenging her parents parents, which is something that is definitely not easy to do, but she's coming up with rebuttals. She's got her facts straight. Her parents are just so mad, and she's coming up with like valid reasons. When they question her on something, she gives them facts, and then they switch the subject. At a certain point, it becomes apparent when you have conversations like these that some people just do not want to listen. For me, I'm reminded of growing up. It reminds me of a growing pain. When you are a child and transitioning into a teenager and then into an adult, there's that rough period where the things that you learn when you were kids is like dropping around you, and it feels like your life is on fire and everything is a lie. And then you start learning about sex and all these other awful things, drugs, whatever. And the veneer, the illusion of good and bad and this binary just becomes, there's this huge gray area that opens up. You're just like, okay, what the fuck am I gonna do now? Like, what does that mean for me? How am I gonna navigate in this world? I think that is the exact same thing a lot of white people are going through at this very moment when they're discovering, as white people do, racism. They're like, oh my God, things are not the way that I've been picturing them to be. It's like, yeah, girl, where you been? It's never been that way. And the cognitive dissonance is so strong, and it's been allowed to be over generations that it has gotten to this point. Speaking of Caucasian, I'm gonna use this really light concealer. So the most important part of makeup is getting the base right, okay, right and tight. So I let my concealer dry down just for a little bit, you know, so that way it becomes more like a cream instead of a liquid. If you guys have HBO, you should definitely watch right here. It's really fun. All right, I think it's finally time to blend this, so let's just go in. I don't know how else to say it, but I am fucking exhausted. Catatonic. I felt very like, what's the point of this anymore kind of tease. You know what I mean? I knew this shit was gonna be an ongoing battle, but I didn't know it was gonna be an all-out war. Like, I didn't think white folks would fight so hard. I should have expected it, because like the train of history and the train of thought goes, like, that's historically what a lot of white people and lighter skinned people do when the power balance shifts and, you know, people with different perspectives start coming in to the general popular conversation. It is normal for then the people who have retained the power for longest to try and stomp that voice out, and probably in an inconspicuous way that makes it look like the voice that's speaking was its own fault. It was its own fault. They've gotten pretty good at that. So I am scared, very scared. Yeah, it's just like really hard to get up in the morning now. Like, it used to be kind of hard, you know, and I used to be kind of okay at it, but now it's like almost borderline impossible. Like, I do not want to see the daylight. Like, very just in my room all day, like really not trying to do anything at all whatsoever. So making these videos has gotten a lot harder. Making videos in general has gotten a lot harder. And I understand that a lot of you guys want to see more of me, but I am emotionally not in a position to do that. I do not feel great, and I do not feel so, well, I feel kind of, well, I'm in a little bit of a bubble, but I feel like I don't feel supported by this country at all. I feel and have felt very on my own, even within my own LGBT community. That T part has always been separate from all the GLBs, and that has been intentional. I've even separated myself from the T's. Sorry, it sounds like I'm about to cry, but I'm trying to swallow and talk at the same time. Okay, last one. These are petite gold cherry tomatoes. Don't know if the company's racist, but they probably are. I'm sure everything I've consumed is up to that point, which is why I am also not really caught up in what company's racist or not, because when it all comes down to it, they all are part of the same fucking thing. So with that also being said, I do eat Chick-fil-A. No, I'm kidding, because if you do, you're homophobic. So yeah, it has been rough. With a capital R. I'm gonna use some of this De-Slick setting spray. This isn't a skin spray, but that's all I have right now. I'm gonna blend this out down my nose. Oh, that looks great, doesn't it? Always add a little bit on my chin. It could serve to be a little brighter underneath my eye. I'm gonna go back in with this Caucasian. So in the meantime, while all this shit is going down, I've been going back and reading about history, okay? Because there's one thing that we know for sure. history repeats herself. And from what happened in the past, I can say it's not looking good. I mean, there's always time for improvement. There's always time for hope. There's always time for, because if you don't have hope, then you might as well just submit now and let the rest handle itself. But since there is hope, it is important that we fight, learn first, and then learn how to fight. So I've been learning, doing a lot of learning, because knowledge is power. And I've been watching a lot of these, I don't know what you want to call them, but commentator YouTubers. So people like Lindsay Ellis, who else? ContraPoints, that's someone I've been watching for a while now. I'm also watching Cat Black, loving True Tea. Also love the videos where, you know, she might step out of her comfort zone a little and draw a nude man on camera. Live for that. If you guys aren't signed up to Cat's Patreon, girl, for that early access, you're missing out, girl. We get that shit like 5 hours before you even see it, so we already in the know. And then there's other YouTubers that I don't necessarily know like what the person's name is, like Renegade Cut. He does a lot of movie analyses, talks about what perspective the director is going with these movie analyses and things that I normally don't hear conversations about, like how the US military be funding movies like Transformers. Lindsay Ellis does a lot of that too. That's actually a lot of the things that these commentators talk about. Things that you necessarily don't think about. You know, there's you and yourself, and you be watching the movies. Specifically, let me talk from my perspective. I'll be watching movies and I will just get sucked into whatever world they show me. It doesn't matter if it's doo-doo, poop shit, it doesn't matter. You know, I was watching Catwoman and I was 100% into that shit. Now, doesn't mean I couldn't tell that it was a shitty movie, because I definitely clocked that. But the way that Halle Berry was set up, it didn't matter what anything else looked like. You know what I mean? Whenever I watch movies, I notice I kind of check out a little bit and I just fall for the fantasy. You know, I love a fantasy. I don't really think about, you know, the implications of what they're trying to tell me. So when I watched this little video talking about how Forrest Gump is a propaganda for capitalism or something like that, I was like, girl, what the fuck you talking about? And then I actually watched the video and I was like, oh bitch, this shit is a fucking propaganda as fuck. When I say it traumatized me, in a way, it did, because watching Jenny, that little white girl character that he falls in love with, fight the good fight, and I was like rooting for her. I was like, wow, she out here with the Black Panthers. And then they show the Black Panthers looking like really angry and aggressive and like messy. And then next thing we know, Jenny got HIV, AIDS, and dies. Like, why? What? Huh? It was very suspect, to say the least. Why Jenny gotta go through all of this and like be with an abusive boyfriend and all of this, you know, because she wants to fight the good fight. And basically the government was telling us, she was like, choose your choice. Okay, you can die from HIV AIDS, or you can live a happy, successful life like Mr. Forrest Gump, because he listened to everybody and he didn't question shit. He just kept his head fucking down and lived his life. And I'm like, that's such a great message. Oh my God, love Forrest as a child. To be quite honest, once I saw that movie, I never watched it again. So there's definitely, to me, something very clearly off. But I never could clock it. I just thought it was one of those cheesy American Dream movies where like the guy gets the American Dream, but he doesn't get the girl or something. Like I didn't have any kind of analysis skills. Okay, now it's time to powder, because I'm gonna add some cream blush on top of this. I think it's better if you powder first, so that way, if you decide to do this look, your highlight doesn't start moving around underneath that cream, which it will if you don't powder. Gonna spray my face with some setting spray. Onto our next subject, blush. So these little blushers are from Rituel de Fille, spelled Rituel de Fille. I got a few colors from them in PR, and this is the color I used in my last video to create that creamy, shiny blush effect called Snapdragon. But I also have a yellow one. I wasn't too sure about the yellow one because she did make me look a little jaundiced. Not gonna lie, it's pretty sheer when you first put it on. Let me just show y'all. I'll do this yellow first. I'm scared of her a little bit. I'm scared. So I'm gonna put this on the highest point of my cheek. I'm not even gonna bother putting on like shimmer or anything like that on this right now. This is gonna be the shimmer. This is the shimmer, okay? This is the boom boom gun. So I use my little dirty brush. Got that yellow on there. Wow, that looks really orange. It's kind of like a yellow orange, honestly, more than like a pure yellow. And I'm gonna put that. That clearly wasn't enough. So you can kind of build this up, which is good because if you don't like it, you can get rid of it or pat over it with something else. But that's basically her. Like, you see how that looks so dewy and shiny and nice? I did it all the way under my eye. I'm gonna go ahead and use my brush for this part. Right on top of my highlight. Now the problem is if you add too much of this cream, you can definitely end up taking off some of your foundation, so be careful at your discretion. I find using my finger is a lot easier to control and a lot less of the foundation comes up that way. But yeah, I guess I could do yellow. It doesn't look that crazy. It's a lot softer than that orange too. So how about you guys? Do I look golden jaundiced? If you're unsure, you can do this step last. I just like to just go in with it, you know. I probably should have did it last though because I still have to do my eyes, and if my eye powder gets caught in this, it's gonna get stuck. Well, I can always add more, but whatever. It's eye time, girls. I'm gonna use this white primer. It's super Caucasian. I'm going to, let me just pat this all over the eye. Then I'm gonna take my beauty sponge and just blend it out. This stuff dries quick, so I gotta work fast. I really want it to be light so that way these pigments show up. Not to say they wouldn't, but like I wanna get the most out of these pigments. Like I really want them to show. And I don't wanna leave any room for error. Let's do pink inner quarter this time. Go ahead and add that. Woo. Pop of pink. I just used Rage Quit, and now I'm gonna go into Level Up just to like see. So I've never used this color. Okay, that's a little too red for my liking, but nice. And then I'm gonna go into Player One, purple this ish up, and then I'm gonna go to blue and basically just go through the whole rainbow. Green, which is this color called Twitch. Who was out here gaming? Okay, at the Sugar Pill office. Who's telling the girls? I want to see what cheat code looks like. Ooh, that's a pretty color. It's like this beautiful teal. High score. I think I'll stop it right there instead of adding that. Maybe I should add the red. So high score. And then I'm gonna use Level Up. It's like a transition into that super pigmented red. And for the red, I'm gonna go in with this brush from a now dead makeup brand. I'm gonna just, actually this brush sucks. I'm gonna go into this blending brush. So the really good thing about this blusher, this cream blusher, is like whatever you add on top of it sticks and the pigment is amplified by like 50, 100, 11. So if you want to use this as like a base product to like add something on top of it, I would highly recommend. It's so sheer that even though it blends in with this makeup really well, since it's red, it sets really nicely. So if you just want a little pigment and just want to set it on top of it, it's oh, so good. I really love this formula. And I'm not getting paid to say that. I'm really not. All right, I want to do a little bit more blending. So I'm gonna take my little small blending brush into Rage Quit again. Really focus on that pigment. And I'm gonna blend Player One and just make sure all the colors flowing a little bit more seamlessly. Just like a little bit more instead of there being like lines. Looks a little day glowy, right? Gonna go into 8-bit, blend that hoe. Then cheat code and Twitch at the same time, like this. Ooh, made that too bright. Cheat code really trying to take the spotlight. What a bitch. And then high score. High score looks like really orange in the pan, but once I add it on my eyelid, it's very yellow. I wonder what continue looks like. Okay, continue is like very, very yellow. Now that that's done, I'm gonna go ahead, go into my contour palette and sculpt this little brow bone that we see here. And just blend that with my eyebrows and kind of, it'll like soften those brow hairs a little bit and make them look less like cartoonish. Although I don't mind looking a little bit like a cartoon. Like that's kind of the goal when I'm doing my makeup, is to look just a little bit like I came out of an anime, just like a little bit. Who doesn't want to look like it came out of a little anime. Like, nobody that I know. Like, there's always that little urge. I could be a magical girl and I could rule the magical world. I'm gonna go highlight. I need to stop showing these brands. I'm gonna highlight with this color. It's like a silvery brown. It's great for my neutral look today. I added some highlight on top of that. So I just added a little bit more of that face grease up on my brow bones. Doesn't that look so cool? Look at that. Wow, wow, wow. So now I'm gonna go in with Willem's Coverboy brand in Roller Rink. I haven't used this yet, so I wanna try and see if I can kind of get a little shimmer or something on the center of my eye, but without ruining the rainbow effect. And this is kind of multicolored, as you can see. It looks like unicorn vomit, which I'm like, this is perfect. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of it. It's called glitter jelly. Who knows if this is eye safe? There's definitely some big ass chunks of glitter in here. So I'm gonna use this sparingly. That came out exactly how I wanted it to. I love those. Oh my god! This is actually very anime. I love it. That's my AC in the background, by the way. It's hot. I'm gonna get some shimmer in this inner corner. I'm gonna use this, the Rosé palette. Seems like I'm only picking up racist brands. It's because, well, as you'll come to find out, all your faves are tied to racism. This whole country is a slave to racism. They say they can help it, but really they can. They're just too lazy to come up with a plan. Instead of being selfless, they give it to another man and then say, why are you so lazy? It's not that he's lazy, he's just tired of being taken advantage of. It's not that he's lazy, he's just angry that his life doesn't matter. Instead of he's lazy, it's just that he's tired of dealing with his shit, of dealing with his mom shit, of dealing with his cousin shit, of dealing with his sister shit, of dealing with the shit, the shit, the shit, the shit, the shit, the shit, the shit. This, my name is Minho. This, something shiny. This, we doing this liner. This, I got some white. This, I'm gonna get some pink. This, and mix that ink. This, spray, spray, spray. This. That was a little bit too much spray. Okay, just gonna mix that up. Mix, mix, mix in the kicks. Mix, mix, mix. Ooh, I created a beautiful rosy pink. It's a little bit washed out on camera, but it's like rosy highlighter pink. This is perfect. Perfect shade. Oh my god, do you guys remember that N64 Perfect Dark game? That was like the first time I remember wanting to be like a video game vixen. And I think, you know, my fate was sealed after that. This is gonna be a little difficult, so I'm gonna need complete and utter concentration. Okay, it looks more like I mean, it's circly enough, right? Okay, definitely fucked up on this eye. Fine, it's fine, it's all fine. Air conditioners drying this makeup a lot faster than I want it to dry down. I think we're ready to go in with some liner, so I'm gonna take my usual little black eyeliner from Dolly Wink, which is a company I can say because, well, I don't know if they're racist or not, but it's Japanese and I don't know, they're Japanese. I'm gonna start by building my triangle. What a gorgeous triangle she is. I'm gonna take this Caucasian eyeliner, nude, go into that inner corner and brighten that ish up. I'm gonna try and smudge it away in here, and what do you know, that worked super well. Blended right into my little eyeliner. For glitter, I'm going to use Althea Korea's own glitter. It's called their Spotlight Eye Glitter. This is in the color Pink Lights. I'm gonna focus this on the inner corner think K-pop girl, she's about to go on stage. They always give them this little bit of eyelight, either like right on the center of the lid, in the inner corner, or just like throughout the whole entire bottom. But it's like way more subtle, so they'll pat it out. I find it so funny that like putting on like eyeliner and like depending on how you put it on can be seen as like, girl, you're doing too much right now. Like K-pop makeup over there is like drag makeup. They're like, oh, bitch, damn, you wearing a lot of makeup. Think about how much makeup we put on over here. The girls are like, who are you trying to turn yourself into? And I'm like a good median now. Before I used to be like super into drag makeup, and then I realized, oh, like my skin's actually getting better. I don't need, or I feel like I don't need to do that as often. And sometimes it looks better when I just, you know, leave the base super clean, concise. You know, I don't have to put on, I just put on 2 drops of foundation. Y'all saw that, right? Like, you really do not need that much, especially if you have acne. I have to stress that out to y'all. Putting more makeup over your acne is only going to make your acne, 1, hurt worse and get more inflamed, and 2, look crunchy. Trust me on this, please. If you want to put something on your acne, put on a face mask. And if it's like a really concentrated area, cut that piece of the face mask out, or just cut the face mask in general and just slap it right on that part of your face, especially if it's like cystic and just hurts really bad. And that will help cool the area. I think it'll feel a lot nicer, and that redness will start to go down a little bit. It's not necessarily a quick fix, but just to alleviate the pain. And then on top of that, once you're ready to put on your makeup, then that little moisturized area, including the rest of your moisturized face, is going to help adhere the makeup to your face a lot better if you're planning on wearing any kind of foundation. Helpful tip from a girl who's struggled with acne for most of her high school career. So I got this in PR from a company, and I don't know what it's about. I'm gonna go ahead and try this on camera for you guys today, and we're gonna see. I'm scared. Look at this lash brush. What is going on? I don't know why, but I definitely want to put this in my mouth. This looks good. Nope, still mascara. It's got a little interesting tiny brush on the back too. I'm guessing for the bottom lash line. We'll see how good this mascara is. It's volumizing, so it's not going to lengthen. I'll tell you right off the bat, the control that I have with this brush is excellent. I can get right in those low corners and not scrape my inner corner. That's crazy. Yeah, I really like this for my eye shape. Okay, let's try the bottom lashes. Oh yeah, this makes it really easy to hit them. Probably didn't need to add bottom mascara, but you know, just for the effect. Add like a little bit of bronzer. This is from Milani in the color Sun Drenched. I'm a little scared it's gonna adhere too much to my dewy area. That's not bad. I mean, I guess when it mats it out, I can always just add more. I like to put bronzer right on the tip of that nose. I'll do some on the chin. Yeah. Now for lashes. Finishing touches with some Pat McGrath lip gloss. Girls, I think we're done. Okay, let me turn off this fan. And boom, that's how I kind of sort of got yesterday's look. I mean, the main point was obviously this section right here. It was glowing, glitzy, dewy skin cream blush. Yeah, I'm like actually really happy with how this came out. Almost like more than the other look. The cover boy. Oh yeah, I don't think this is eye safe. Like, with this amount of glitter, but who knows? Who cares? It looks great. Might lose my vision, but at least we look poppin' for our very last look, you know? At least it's a good look to lose your vision too. Let me not play, because girl, the way this year is coming out, Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry that I paused in the middle. I was just like, well, I ran out of things to talk about, and most of the stuff that I do want to talk about isn't coming until the next video. So if you would like to stay tuned for that, make sure to subscribe if you already haven't subscribed, and turn on that notification bell if you like this video enough to actually receive notifications on your phone from me, okay? So until next time, it's been me, Miles J, and I will see you guys all later. Bye!